All right, good morning. Welcome into the Out of Bounds Show. ESPN 1059 The Zone. We're streaming live on thezone1059.com and the Out of Bounds radio app. You can also watch the show on YouTube. Search Out of Bounds Sports. And we've got a special guest in studio, Bryan Carpenter. And he is a producer, among many other hats that he wears. And we're going to talk about Little Brother of War, among other things that he has done during his creative journey.
We'll say that.
That we're all on. That's right.
Right.
So, Bryan Carpenter, good morning. How are you?
Doing
What's
fine.
going on, buddy?
Oh, man, thanks guys for having me here. We're just getting ready to get this little premiere started up at the Pearl River Resort for our show that we shot up there.
That's awesome. Tell me about it.
Man, you talk about a long journey. That's a long journey right there. But I use the word perseverance, which is a good word to use for the Choctaw tribe themselves. I like that. I like, you have to stay the course and continue to, just climb that hill until you get it done. And we started this project years ago to shoot this. Lots of hurdles to jump to get on the reservation and get the approvals we needed to go on there and film the game of Stickball, which arguably is the first continental game played in North America. It was the first game that so many of them.
How about that first
I know, right?
Game played in North America?
They've been playing it for centuries,
right?
Even before recorded. And I think some of the European people saw it in the early 18th century, and they recorded it, documented it, whatnot. But they'd been played, hundreds of years prior to that.
Yeah.
And they call the game Little Brother War because the tribe played it to avoid all-out war over something that may have caused that. In other words, if they had a dispute over land or hunting rights or fishing or even territory, instead of going to war, they would gather together and play this game. And the game would last days over miles of the course, and people would die, and at the end, whoever won the game was the one that won whatever they were arguing over. Hence the name Little Brother War.
Wow.
So.
Okay, so the premiere is Thursday at Pearl River Resort.
That's correct.
Okay. How long have you been working on this project? Bryan Carpenter on the Out of Bounds Show. Go ahead.
So we started about, it's around 2018, I believe, is when we started filming this. And that was the years that we, 2019. And we went to the reservation. We shot the entire season of Stickball that year. Lots of stuff happened. We got caught in the middle of COVID with our editorial out in California. The studio shut down out there. Then after that, we get back started again. We had a huge industry-wide strike that happened recently, and that put us back. So one roadblock after another, but we finished it, and we got it together with Storyville, which is an editorial studio down in New Orleans, Southern Sound, which is Steven Soderbergh and sound guys that do a lot of his shows. They did all the sound on it. Put it together, brought it up to the tribe for them to see, which they have been working with us nonstop. Just developed just a wonderful relationship with them over the years. Yeah,
That's great.
As you can imagine,
love to hear that.
Yeah, I know. If you can, I'm sure you know, and rightfully so. Yeah, they're a little bit, very tight with who they work with, and they need to make sure that people have the best interest, in whatever they're doing there. Sure. And I wanted to make sure that
this means a lot to you.
It does mean a lot to me, and it means a lot to have made it right and made it to where they're proud of the way it portrays the Choctaw, because not patting myself or us on the back, because it was certainly a team effort.
Sure.
But the simple fact of the matter is, this is the first time with this type of vehicle, right, that the Choctaw tribe and the game of Stickball is going to be shown.
That's awesome.
Yes. And you don't very often get a chance to do that, right? So doing it right was important. And I sat down, I remember this so clearly. I sat down with one of the members, one of our main characters that you'll see in the film, Elijah Jimmy. And Elijah looked at me and he said, Bryan, he said, I'll take part in this. And he said, and I'll do this. And he said, but you've got to do it right. Do what you say. do it correctly, and tell the story the right way.
Right.
After all these years, he took a look at it. And he walked up to me literally with tears in his eyes, and he gave me a hug, and he said, "You're a man of your word." And that meant everything to me. It really did.
That's powerful. Yeah. All right, so Bryan Carpenter on the Out of Bounds show, and it meant that much to him when he saw it. Little Brother of War.
Right.
All right, tell me, is it this is a documentary for how long is it?
Right. It's around 1 hour and 30 minutes.
Love it.
Yeah,
so that's perfect.
Full feature documentary.
90 minutes.
Right. And it tells tells the story not only of Stickball, but the Choctaw tribe in itself and their culture. We mixed a lot of it in. When you're telling an audience something they've never seen before, right? You've got to keep them interested, but also educate at the same time.
Right.
And to find that balance is, it's difficult.
Right.
Because you don't want to lose people in the weeds, so to speak.
You got to have the hook in the beginning.
That's right.
Tell the story through the middle, and then figure out how you're going to wrap it up.
Right. 3 acts generally, and make sure that so that's what we did. We tried to give an educational view of this entire game. What is Stickball? Most of the time when you say, hey, we're going to show a movie about Stickball, they think Brooklyn in the middle of the street whacking up, ball with a stick, right? They don't think, 2 sticks, the family unit is what they call it, the 2 sticks, and running around full contact, there's
a lot more to it.
Very few rules, right? And the rules of the game, so most people they're like, what are you even talking about? And then when you start talking about it, then they're like, wow, I didn't even know that, right? This is the first time I've even heard that. And it becomes very interesting to people at that point.
So a 90-minute documentary.
Right.
And this is the premiere. Where will people go to find it?
So once this is done, we felt that it was the right thing to do, and it was what we wanted to do, is give the Choctaw an opportunity to premiere it there,
sure,
at their home, and let everyone see it. So we'll have the premiere, and then it'll play through Friday and Saturday at the Pearl River Resort as well.
That's awesome.
Then after that, we'll take it back. Later on, a week later, the museums are actually going to play it with Native American History Month. They're playing it inside of the museums.
That's fantastic.
I know. It's pretty awesome. I was really, really proud about that. And the tribe is going to also take part in that, and we're going to do some publicity for that and some spots on that. After that, we will take it back and find a home for it.
Okay.
You film, it's always joke, and I heard this. I've heard 2 really good statements from 2 different directors and producers over my career. One guy told me one time, he said, Bryan, you're going to do shows. And he said, one of these days, someone's going to hand you a check for $10 million and say, here, we would love your show, take it. And you're going to look at that check and say, yeah, I broke even. It's going to be that kind of thing. And so that's very, very true. And then another guy a director told me, he said, making the movie is the easy part, selling it's the hard part.
I bet.
And now with all the different platforms. It used to be different. Yeah, different platforms. Most of the strike was about 2 things. It was about the streaming and all the unions. That's a lot of people don't realize. They say, oh, I'm going to make a movie or I'm going to do this. They have no idea that the unions and the guilds and everything you have to work with.
All the moving parts.
All the moving parts.
All right, we're going to have to do this again because I've only got about 30 seconds. About a minute. Okay. Bryan Carpenter, producer on the Out of Bounds show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. And this is incredible what they've been able to do. I'll be up there Thursday. Little Brother of War, documentary on Stickball, among other things. And we'll bring you back when y'all, I guess, do the deal to distribute it.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Outstanding.
But I also want to know a little bit more, and we'll promote it when the museums are going to show it for Native American race.
Right.
And we'll talk a little bit about your background, too, when you come back.
That sounds like
And I think we'll talk about food and Mississippi and all the people you've worked with in L.A. in the entertainment industry.
Yeah, people, we bring them into Mississippi, and I tell them 2 things. There's only 2 things you need to know about Mississippians. 1, we're horse traders, and 2, we're a little bit magic. And then I do a card trick.
Bryan Carpenter on the Out of Bounds show.